Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Legion S7 15ACH6. Alright, let me double check, it's kind of small. Legion S7 15ACH6, yeah. Alright, so we're going to be using a PH0 or JAS0 screwdriver to remove all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So we got 4 along here, we got 1 on either side here, and then we got 1 on either side down here as well. Right, so let's go ahead and remove all the screws. If this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, I do have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. It's basically the same profile picture but zoomed in, so if you could subscribe to that one and then yeah, watch a few of those and comment on those, that would help a lot. That one needs to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's currently a little bit over 500, so hopefully soon. But that one's just like random reviews of everything. Alright, anyways, now that we got all those screws out, let's see how we can pop this bottom cover off. There's only 2 here, but usually this side is probably going to be the easiest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fingernails in that gap and then push with my thumb on the palm rest. Let's see if we can pop it open. Alright, and right now actually, I think is it on, or is that just the silver around it? Oh, no, it was off. Okay, so their screen is damaged, as you can see. Okay, it's doing some weird glitchy thing here, so we're replacing that screen. Alright, anyways, let me go ahead and pop this out real quick. I do need to shut it back down now that I turned it on. Oop, let me give me a second. Let me do that real quick. I'll be back. Alright, I shut it down. Let's go ahead now and try popping the bottom cover off again. So again, fingernails in the gap, thumb pushing on there. Okay, you can see how part of it is popping open. Let's go ahead to the other side. You don't want to push on the touchpad because you can damage that if you're not careful. Okay, so avoid pushing on that section. I'm going to slide my fingernails through there and then push with my thumb on the other sides, and there you go. You can see we got that popped open. We're going to work our way over to the sides. Oh, what is in here? Huh, they had some fabric stuck inside. Alright, anyways, we're going to go ahead and continue. Now while pulling it, you can just slide your fingernail over. As you can see, this one popped itself out, so I didn't even have to really do anything. Pull on this, same thing. Just slide your fingernail over, or a pry tool, obviously. Okay, and then that's it. Wow, that popped out pretty easily. So I need to open this just so I can disconnect the battery. It's very important. If you disconnect your screen without disconnecting the battery, there's a very good chance you're gonna fry something in there. So it's a little bit dusty in here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. All right, so let me do that real quick and I'll be back. Basically all you do, you just brush this all with the dust, and then I use an electric air blower to blow all the loose dust away. All right, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So I dusted off this and dusted that off. You can see it's a lot cleaner now. Okay, so let's get a thumbnail. All right, now let's go ahead and remove the battery from here. Let's see, sometimes they switch over to a PH1 or JS1 when they get to the inside. In this case, it looks like they stayed with the PH0 or JS0. All right, so let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. So we got 1 screw here, 1 screw here, and 1 screw here. I hope they're not hiding one. Actually, they are hiding one. Okay, so there's one thing a lot of people comment on is a lot of times I'll remove the SSDs and stuff without taking out the battery first, and here's showing you proof of you don't need to. So they actually hide a thing for the battery under here, so we do need to remove this 1 screw. Okay, so get that screw out, then the SSD goes up slightly. Actually, let me zoom in here for you guys. Okay, so this comes up slightly, and then when you're pulling that up slightly, don't pull it too high, you don't want to break this. Okay, then you kind of just wiggle and pull, and there you go. Obviously you want to make sure that your computer is turned off before you do that. Okay, this is an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, so if you're replacing your SSD, you want to replace it with that. Also, it has this little plastic piece on there that you need to migrate over to the new SSD, so make sure you do that. Okay, it just slides on and off. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and remove this screw here. Okay, so they have a hidden screw under there. All right, now we can go ahead and disconnect the battery. But beforehand, let's go ahead and look at the battery model number. If you need to replace the battery, it's an L20L4PD3. So if you need that and you can't find it, just let me know. I'll help you get it. All right, so here's the battery now. Now that we got all the screws, we can lift the front up slightly, and then we can slide this forward. Okay, so we're sliding the battery this way because these little feet get lodged underneath these little pieces there. All right, once you do that, you can go ahead and lift the back up slightly like that. Get your finger under the connector over here, okay, and then another one on top. And then what I like to do is I wiggle the connector side to side. Try and get as close as you can. Don't try and pull from all the way back here. Try and pull from as close to the connector as possible. Wiggle from side to side as you pull, and it should eventually walk its way out. You can see the little white dot there. It's kind of hard to see, but let me see. You see that little white dot on the connector? So you should see that slowly coming out as you wiggle it. Okay, and there we go. All right, so there's the connector. Came out nice. Make sure if you're putting a replacement that you have the red wires going to this side and then the black wires going to this little middle cover, which is the RAM slot. So let me actually show you that as well. Okay, one thing to take note of after disconnecting the battery. This is very, 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 very important if you're messing with the screen cables. We're going to open up the laptop, and then we're going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. All right, a lot of people ask me, do I need to do this? Okay, it's 15 seconds. If you can't take extra 15 seconds to make sure your computer doesn't die, then you probably should just leave the computer alone and don't mess with it. All right, so we'll wait a few extra seconds just to be extra safe. And there we go. We'll close this up. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and go for the RAM. So there's this metal box here. I just used my fingernail. Obviously, you can use a plastic pry tool or whatever, but you got to get underneath a little edge here. These tend to be pretty difficult to pop up. So just get under and let's see. Sometimes, no, this one looks like it should be removable. Sometimes they make them so they're not removable, but this should be removable. Come on. There we go. Okay. So now that we lifted that up, we're going to go on the other side, lift that up. Obviously, it's held down with some adhesive here. So if you're going to peel this up, you're going to have to peel up the adhesive a little bit as well, or completely. And here we go. All right. So I don't want to lift this cover all the way because then we'll end up making a crease on the adhesive. So I'm going to just do this like that. You can see in here, okay. If you don't know how to remove RAM, I have other videos showing that, but there's two metal tabs you got to pull to the side. Once you do that, the RAM pops up at an angle, okay, and then you can go ahead and pull it out, okay. And here you go. The RAM is PC4 3200AA. So you should be okay with any PC4 3200AA RAM. Again, this is an 8 gig stick. You can put a 16 gig stick. There's only one slot, so sadly you can't upgrade the second one if there is a second one. A lot of times they'll have, okay, that actually came up nicely. All right, so a lot of times they'll have a slot of RAM, or not a slot of RAM, but memory that's soldered to the motherboard or logic board, whatever you want to call it. All right, anyways, let me show you the RAM again since now you have more view for it. Pull that to the side and you see it pops up, then you just pull this out. Okay, we're gonna put that back in. All right, wiggle that and then click that back down. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get this all lined back up and then click that all back into place. Stick that all down and there we go. So that's the RAM. Here's the wireless card. If you want to remove it, you go from the tail and then you just pull up. I'm not gonna remove that. Here you have the fan connector. Why does this look a little bit loose? Oh no, that's just the lighting. Okay, so you got another, there's a fan connector there. You got the other fan connector here. There's another M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. I don't know if any of these are aftermarket. There's a good chance that they added this one afterwards because it's pretty rare that they'll use like the, these, what do you call, consumer level SSDs. Usually they put some random mass-produced one. All right, then you got the keyboard backlight connector here. There's a flip latch, the black one. You flip that up and then you can pull it out. You got the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery connector here. If you replace it, make sure red wire is going this way, black wire is going towards the keyboard backlight. There's the keyboard connector, flip latch to remove. This is the touchpad trackpad connector, same thing, flip latch here. There's another connector here, but I'm not sure what it's for. There's nothing connected. Speaker connector here. There's one screw holding that in place. Other speaker, the connector, The blue one is right there underneath this plastic flap. And then this one has a screw up here, okay? The battery, CMOS battery, is under this. And yeah, I think everything else is soldered in. Got 2 USB ports. Yeah, all of this is soldered into place. So if you need to replace the charge ports or anything, then you have to remove the whole motherboard and solder. All right, there's also the 1 key recovery button hole here. Use a folded out or bent paper clip to press that. If you want to get to the BIOS, or to do like a factory restore to wipe everything out. If you replace the SSD, then you won't have the factory restore option, so keep that in mind. All right, anyways, now we got to remove the screen. So I've already done this earlier. So there were some adhesive tabs. I'll show you when I put it back together how the adhesive tabs go. But for now, we're going to go ahead and remove the bezel. So to remove the bezel, you go from the inside and you pull up. We're basically rotating it this way. All right, and then we're just going to peel all of this out. Okay. All right, so go slowly. Once you get the hang of it, you can kind of like pull it like while you're holding it twisted that way, and then just slide your fingers down and that will peel the whole thing up. Okay, just like this. Okay, just like that. All right, now we got to the big portion at the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hold this and then peel this out as well. Right now the LCD can freely fall out because I didn't put back the adhesive behind it, but you can see we can peel all this adhesive out. Okay, and there we go. Now that we got that, we're gonna set the bezel aside. It's just held in with a bunch of adhesive. Okay, so the design of this one, there were 3 tabs that we have to remove adhesive from. So first thing, we have to remove these little pieces here. Again, using the PH0 or JAS0 screwdriver. Once you remove that, you can go ahead and kind of wiggle and pull this out. Okay, so we'll take that out, set that aside, and then we'll get the other one out and set that aside as well. Okay, so once you get those 2 pieces out, all right, you can see these little gaps here. So what you need is you need some good needle nose pliers. I don't think tweezers are going to be good enough. You can try, but there's a little tab that will stick out here. You would grab that and then you have to pull it parallel to the screen. So if you put the screen all the way back, then it's easier. You can pull straight back like this and you just keep stretching it. I try and keep those adhesive tabs as intact as possible so I can reuse them. I'll show you when I go to put back the adhesive tab. But basically I would stretch it and then I would grab here so that it won't stretch back. I'll let this part stretch back and then I'll pull this and then I'll grab here, let this stretch back so to make sure it doesn't stick to itself, and then same thing, pull and just keep doing that. Let it stretch back, pull it, and I'll continue doing that the entire way. All right, so those 2 tabs. Then you got another one here that hides under and it goes around sideways here. So this one's a little more tricky to not make it stick to itself. And also the gap is a lot smaller, so it's a lot harder to get. This one took a lot of effort to get in there with the, those pliers, and then I had to kind of like twist it to roll it onto itself to get better grip. After that, you kind of pull it sideways this way. Okay. Once you remove those 3 tabs, then the screen can actually come forward here. You want to be very careful because there's not a crazy amount of slack here. So I'm going to close the screen up slightly and then let this drop forward. Okay. Now that we got that dropping forward, oh, you can't even see it, huh? Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to show this. Okay, I can. All right, let's zoom in a bit more. Okay, so now that we got that, you can see the tab and how it holds together. So what we got to do, we got to peel this piece up, and then we got to peel that and flip this little latch and then disconnect it. Okay, so what you do is you go under here, and this portion actually is nice. They didn't put adhesive on the very edge, so it's a little bit easier. You get under there, and then you kind of just work your way going from corner to corner like this. Okay, let's see if it will come out. Sometimes the adhesive is like too strong, or it sticks to its the screen more than the plastic tab, and then you lose the adhesive. Okay, so again, you just go from corner to corner like this, slowly rolling the adhesive back, just like this. Okay, and then now that you got that adhesive out, we're gonna flip this metal latch over, so just get underneath. I just use my fingernail. Obviously, you can use pry tools or whatever you can use to get in there. Actually, this one, it's kind of low beneath this, so I might have to use a little tool, but let's see. You can see, all right. Oh, there we go. All right, so you flip that up. Then you, with your fingernails or whatever plastic tool, I go from the bottom of the little metal latch here, and I push that, all right, and there we go. So now we have the screen removed. Here you can see the screen's model number here, here you go, NE156QUM-N6C version 8.1. All right, usually when you go to get replacement screens, if you look up that model number, you should be able to get the correct replacement part. They a lot of times will send you a what do you call, a compatible replacement, so it's not going to be the same exact model number. I haven't opened this yet, so I'm not sure if we ended up getting something like that, but let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, I probably need to cut the adhesive on the top as well. Yep. All right, so we'll cut this as well, and cut this as well. All right, so now that we got that open, okay, oh, they put all these little plastic things to package it really well. That's actually really nice packaging, so this screen should be good and intact. All right, I've had some where they don't pack it well and then the screens end up getting crushed. Okay, usually on Amazon they're pretty good because of the return policy, so not too worried. If you order a screen from Amazon, you should be okay. All right, so here it comes with this foam and cardboard, at least the one that I ordered. The thing is they tape this all up, so I mean it's good because then it won't move around, but they don't make an easy way to get it off, so we have to use something to like cut this. Okay, and make sure you're just cutting the tape and you're not cutting the screen. Okay, just like this and like that. All right, so hopefully that should be good enough that we can pop it open. You can see the screen looks to be about the same. It's also BOE. Okay. Oh, did I not cut it completely out? Okay, let's see. What? Okay, I think I didn't cut it all the way through. There we go. This one. Okay, so here we go. Here's the screen. Set the foam and other stuff aside, and the main thing you need to take note of is the connector here. Okay, so make sure this connector is the same and lines up. Looks to be the same. Okay, so let's go ahead now and unpackage it. So this part here, they folded it, so you kind of gotta tear that. This packaging kind of scares me a little bit because when you have to take it out, this LCD or OLED or whatever this panel is, it's pretty thin, so it's kind of fragile. So you have to be very careful opening this. Like their screen didn't even take physical blunt damage, and it got that damage. It's because the screen is so thin. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut it. So the screen is so thin, so just the flex in the panel is enough to cause it to break. Okay. So you want to be very careful with this screen, okay? Try not to flex it, and yeah, all right. We're gonna go ahead now and peel this off. Oh man, see that tape? I keep forgetting now I need to cut that as well. Sorry, this is all part of the process. If you end up getting stuff packaged like this, hopefully it will help you with yours, because yeah, there's this stuff that happens, and you want to be careful not to cut the screen, obviously, okay? All right, give me a second. All right, let's go ahead and continue removing this from the baggie. Okay, and then we'll carefully remove it from the packaging. Okay, let's take a look. So here you can see the model number is different. It's NE156QUM-N66 version 3.0. So yeah, it's slightly different, okay? Anyways, so instead of N6C, it's N66. And yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and set the old screen aside, and then we'll get the new screen into place. So this can be a little bit tricky because if you notice, the cable is raised slightly higher than the thing, so you have to kind of have it up here. So usually what you would do, you would close the screen more so you have more room to get it, but then you guys can't see. So let's see how I can do this. All right. Basically, what I can do, let me get something that's about the same thickness. Actually, I can use the old screen. Okay. So you can use the old screen to put underneath. And if that doesn't work, you can also get like a stack of printer paper or something just to make it a little bit taller. Okay, you can see this doesn't quite reach. So let me get a bunch of paper and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. The good thing about stacks of paper, you can adjust the height to whatever you want just by removing sheets. Okay, so basically you want to get it about the same height as this little lip here, okay? And then we can now get this all lined up. Okay. This is the tricky part because you got to get it lined up really well. Okay. And then since there's no slack, we can't really shove the cable in. We have to shove the screen into place, kind of. So now that we got the two corner edges in, we're going to push the screen further back if we can. Oops, I have to raise it a little bit higher actually. So get that in, okay. And then pull both corners in, okay. Oops. Try not to get your finger stuck to the adhesive. All right, now that we got that, I'm gonna use my fingernails to pull the two corners here. Okay, pull that corner, pull this corner, and then we're gonna go ahead and just stick the adhesive down just like that. All right, and now we can go ahead and flip this back up. The screen has a bunch of bubbly stuff in it because it has a protective layer on top. So let me zoom out here and then show you guys. All right, the screen is supposed to be matte. So let me double check, make sure that underneath, yep, okay, so underneath this layer, it's matte. Okay, we're gonna now flip this over. We're not going to secure the screen yet. There's the adhesive that we need to put back that I didn't show how to take out earlier. But let's go ahead and put the battery back in, power it up, make sure it's working. Okay, so we got this. Let's zoom in. We got to get this lined up. Okay, and then once you get it lined up, pinch the two pieces together, just like this. Try and pinch from both sides to make sure it goes in straight. There we go, okay. Now that we got that in, we gotta get the little feet of the battery back in. So get that, pull that up, get the feet in, and then get that down, okay? And then get that down. There we go. Now we're just gonna get the screws back in, okay? Or at least a couple of them just to hold it. Okay, definitely need to get the one with the SSD in first because we do need to put the SSD back. And then we'll get the one on this corner. All right, so now that we got the two outer corner screws in, we can go ahead and put the SSD back in as well. Okay, make sure you put it the right way with the notch going towards the battery. All right, it goes in slightly at an angle, pinch the whole thing together like that, and then lower it down. Now we'll just get this screw back in. Okay, and then let's go ahead and power it up and see if it looks better. Okay. Power it on. If it doesn't power on, you might have to plug in your plug the laptop in, but as you can see, it's good, and you can see the weird glitchy stuff is gone. So we should be good to go. Let me make sure to shut it down just in case, because some customers don't want their information to be shown. So yeah, let me do that and I'll be back. All right, we're back. So let's go ahead now and put the adhesive back just to make it, oh actually, we also had this foam that came with the packaging, which is a perfect size, I believe. So let's go ahead and use this, okay, to align the adhesive on the screen. But let's go ahead and put the last couple battery screws back in since we tested it and it's working well, okay. I'll actually let's put the whole bottom cover back, why not, okay. Okay, so there's all the battery screws. Let's zoom out here. And let's get the bottom cover back in, and then we'll go ahead and put the adhesive for the screen and everything. All right. If for some reason you damage your adhesive, you can use any normal double-sided adhesive tape. Just know it's going to be a lot harder if you need to replace it. that you would have to peel that thing out. So keep that in mind. One thing you can do is just put less adhesive. It technically doesn't need that much adhesive to hold the whole thing. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and get this in. The easiest way, because you can see it has these clips here, is to go with this side first. So you go in at an angle. Okay, all right, and then slide that cover into place. All right, you want to make sure to slide that to lock all those little edges in. Then you go in the center and push down. So like this, okay, just like that. From the back, same thing, pushing in towards the center and down. All right, then you can go ahead and push the middle in, and there we go. Let's go ahead and get all the bottom screws in. And this one. Okay. There we go. All right, then we're going to go ahead and get these in. Here we go. Now let's go ahead and open this up again, and now we're going to use this foam here so we can lay the screen forward, okay, and work on it. We can work on the adhesive. All right, so now we'll let the screen fall down here. Make sure not to pull it forward because you don't want this connector to come loose. Okay, all right, so there we go. Now we got to get the adhesive strips back. So I have to keep it at this angle because if I push it further, it's gonna rip this cable, okay? So we have to be careful. All right, so here you can see the little gap here. This is where the little opening for the screen comes. I'll show you what I mean after we get this all back in. So we're gonna get this little, you can see the little plastic tip part. We're gonna get that there, so that way we have a way to grab it to pull it back out when it needs, if the screen ever needs to be repaired again. Okay, so we just stick that back in here, and I'll try and show you guys what it looks like once I get it all stuck down. Okay, all right, so the adhesive doesn't stick quite as well as before, but once it will like be pushed on for a while, it'll be okay. So this is what that looks like. Okay, so that's the strip on the left. The one on the right was different. I'm not sure if they're always like that, but it's weird. Okay, so look at this left strip. It's like this. Okay, so it's kind of weird, and I guess it's always like that because you can actually see they put this white outline here to show where the adhesive ends. All right, so what you do, again, same thing, line up the little plastic edge tip down there, and then we're gonna go ahead and just get this adhesive stuck back up in there. Okay, and make sure that all gets stuck down. Also, when you remove it, it gets a little bit stretched out, so you can see how it's kind of like bowing out a bit. That's normal. We're gonna have to actually move the adhesive up slightly. Okay, so let's go ahead and peel this up slightly so we can fix that. So yeah, this, you need to kind of move it up slightly since it's stretched a bit. There we go. And then the last adhesive tab, again, is this one, and it goes up into this little gap there, and there's also the white lines kind of to guide it. All right, so again, get that in there, and just lay that all flat in there. Perfect. All right, now all we gotta do is flip the screen back up and stick it all into place. Okay, so make sure everything lines up. Okay, looks good. All right, now we can lay the screen on its back. This design is kind of weird because there's that bump there, So you're gonna have to use a bunch of stuff stacked up. Okay. I'm gonna use all the packaging. Again, you can just use a bunch of paper. So we're gonna try and make it about the same height as that bump back there so we can rest this more flat. Maybe take this one out. All right. Here, there we go. And then you just push the screen down. Don't push too hard. You don't want to crack the screen, obviously. Okay. And then you want to test it out one more time just to make sure before you put the bezel and everything back on. Looks good. Okay. We're going to now carefully peel this off. I like to roll it off instead of pulling it up because there are layers in the screen and you don't want to separate the layers there. Okay. So it's good to roll it like this. Okay. All right, I'm gonna shut this down again. I'll be back. All right, now that we got the screen back in, let's go ahead and get the little, what are those, hinge covers back into place, okay? They're hinge covers and they also help hold the adhesive. So here you can see the little plastic tabs are visible here now. So if you need to pull it back out, you can, all right? This goes in like this, and this goes in like this. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and get the screws in, just like this, and like this. All right, and then we just got to get this little bezel frame back on. Let me see if I can get this in view for you guys, kind of, okay? Obviously, you just line everything up and stick it back down. If it's not sticking down well, you might have to use some new double-sided adhesive. So keep that in mind, all right? Gonna get that. I like to get the bottom and then the top and the bottom corners first, and then that way you know about how long. And then this portion, you kind of just have to keep it towards the side and push that all down, okay? So same thing over here. Get the top corner in. Okay, make sure it's all the way over to the side edge on both. There. And then this one as well, push that edge and then work your way up, okay? And then go ahead and go across and just stick that all down. It does help to have the thing like before, what I was doing, to make it thicker. That way you can kind of rest it on something, okay? Like this. And then you can have something to push against and just push that all the way. Oops, I need to make sure this lines up. Okay, slanked down a little bit. So make sure this is all the way up, otherwise you're going to be covering your camera with this tab. Now I made the new screen have some fingerprint smudges on it. Alright, anyways. There you go. Make sure to stick that up all around. And then make sure you can see the little red dot for the camera if you're using that. All right, one other thing I recommend is after replacing the screen, it's always a good idea to do a restart instead of just shutting it down, because Windows has this like fast startup, quick startup, whatever thing, which is like a hybrid sleep shutdown. So it's always a good idea to restart the computer one time. That way it can detect the new hardware and everything properly and reset the system file, system configuration for them. All right, so let's wait till this boots up and then I'll show you. Just do the regular Windows restart, okay? It's nothing special, just normal restart. So when your computer's on, just click, get the thing to go. All right, then in the little shutdown menu, instead of doing shutdown, just do restart. And that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Again, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. I also have another channel called It's Been Reviewed and More. If you could subscribe to that one and watch a few of those videos, that'll help a lot. I need to get that one to 1,000 subscribers. We're a little over halfway there. So yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.